What was your initial reaction when you saw David S. Goya's screenplay, and can you tell us about Christopher Nolan's involvement in the project as well?
Yeah, well, I guess that the kind of happened at the same time. Chris and Emma invited Debbie and I over to their house to talk about the script and the movie, and Chris kind of pitched me this version of Superman that I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the script came over and we read it, and I really felt like, wow, there's a potential inside of this for a Superman that can do both things, that literally can live in two worlds, and that means the mythological and then the sort of real, our world, and kind of bridge that gap that he's never really bridged before, I don't think. In the past he's either been pure fantasy or he's been an icon of cinema, but not necessarily rendered in a way that you would say like, oh, that just happened. And I just felt like, this is a cool opportunity to do both, and I think that the most powerful movies are the ones where you believe that I'm watching this and fantastic things happen, whether it be like a guy fly or, whatever it is. But also at the same time, you're also saying in that same moment, I'm seeing myself, I'm seeing my world represented. And I think that's what, at the best, that's what the movie does, I think.
Well, I certainly found myself pondering what it would be like to be Superman, which I've never done any superhero movie before.
And that's really what it was all about for me. It was I wanted to go like, I want the audience to think, gosh, what would I do if I was Superman? And then have him do something and go, yeah, that's right. That's what I get that. That's how I feel, rather than, oh, I'm just some god floating above you and telling you, maybe I'll help you, maybe I won't.
The film is a thrill ride, really, with epic action sequences, but a lot of emotional resonance as well. But you've described it as being a small film, and I just wondered what you kind of meant by that.
Well, I mean that by the fact that it's like a movie made by hand. It's a handheld movie. It's made with the same group of guys that I make all my movies with, and it's a really small team of guys that I work with. And I don't know. It just, to me, it always, no matter how big, the movie visually is, it's made in a really kind of boutique-y, handmade way. And so there's an organic quality to the movie.
And Superman is celebrating his 75th birthday this year, and I think there could be no better tribute than this movie. What was your own first contact with Superman as a character?
My first memory of Superman was the 1950s TV show, the dun 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 dun, faster than a speeding bullet, that thing. And it's just that image of him standing with his hands on his hips, kind of like on the moon, with the American flag behind him. I guess it's pretty, probably everyone's memory of Superman, but it's mine as well.
And I believe your son Eli appears in the film. What can you tell us about his
No,
involvement?
Eli's not in this movie.
Oh.
He's in all the other ones, but he was busy playing football, so he couldn't do it.
Oh, okay. So
dang it.
Read somewhere that he was playing one of the bullies at school. So that was...
Although my daughter, who's here, worked on the movie in the makeup department a little bit.
Oh, awesome. In some ways, I think Watchmen was a subversive kind of dissembling of a superhero movie.
Absolutely.
In what ways did that prepare you for your work on Man of Steel, and how happy were you that it was sort of the other way, this way around?
This is the right order, by the way. It's the correct order, because in making Watchmen, you really deconstruct this mythology and these icons so intensely that then to later try and create one, you have a skill set, I think, that comes in super handy in the understanding of the why of them. The why of it is half of the battle, and I think that's an important lesson that I think I got off of this experience.
And I believe you only screen tested one actor on film for the role of Superman. What qualities did you see in Henry Cavill that you thought he would be the ideal choice?
I think Henry, well, first of all, he looks kind of like Superman-ish, whatever that means. But, in the suit and everything, you're pretty much like, the picture part of it is done. But then, to talk to him and to sort of experience his attitude, his point of view, he's from a military family, so he has a very sort of, the concept of service is really clear for him, and that's really what makes him Superman in a lot of ways.
I think when I was a kid in American movies, the British people always seem to play villains, but now we've got Andrew Garfield, Christian Bale, and of course Henry Cavill. Do you think Brits make particularly good superheroes?
Apparently. I think the most important thing, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I always think that because much in the same way that Superman being from Krypton, it's easy for him to remind us what it is to be human because he's looking at us from the outside. I always feel like maybe that's the same case with like Henry grew up in England, you know, he comes here and he can show us ourselves maybe clearer than we can. You know, I think that's maybe I'm overthinking it, but it does feel like that's possible.
And in the film, we obviously see Jor-El and a benevolent father sending his only child to Earth. And at one point, we see Clark sitting in a church with Christ behind him with a red cape. And I just wondered how keen you were to underline the religious resonances of the character.
Yeah, I mean, look, the metaphors, the sort of relationship, you know, the Christ story and the Superman story. It's not a thing that I didn't make that up. That's a thing that's existed within the canon forever. But it was also a thing that we really wanted to make sure that we included a little bit because we felt like in order to complete his mythology, it would be uncool to deny that super important part of him, which has been denied kind of a little bit in the other films. And I really felt like if we did it right, it wouldn't get in the way of the movie, but in a weird way would enhance the mythology, and that's really what we were trying to do.
And we see human peak physical fitness in Watchmen, I think, with Dr. Manhattan
Yes.
and Gerard Butler's 300 Men.
Yep.
How important was it to convey?
I like designing male icons, I guess, is how it is. Fitness icons, that's my job. That's the real goal. No, and it's true. I guess I bring it on myself a little bit. Yeah, it was really important from the beginning. I told Henry, I said, listen, you're going to be wearing this skin-tight suit, and I want you to look like, you know, a freak. Like, you should be in crazy shape. And he really said, he embraced the concept 100% because, you know, the idea that you see the suit and you can see his body underneath it, and where you think like, oh, that's got to be a rubber suit, right? And then we're, you know, I really wanted to include a scene where he had no shirt on, so you could say like, wait a minute, that is what's under there, you know.
And could you briefly tell us a bit about casting your other male actors in the movie, Kevin Costner and Russell Crowe, of course, as his two dads?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like basically the wish list version of what you want. I mean, we got really lucky in that whoever I was asking for in my mind, we got in the movie. So like I'd say, oh, you know, it'd be awesome. His Earth Dad should be Kevin Costner. That would be perfect. He's like, you know, when you like tear things out of magazines and you put it down like, oh, that'd be like, we should have someone like Kevin Costner. How about we get Kevin Costner? Oh, okay, that's awesome. Or, you know, how about like Russell Crowe, like for Jor-El, you know, and then it's like, no, we got Russell Crowe. So it was like that. Even Amy, you know, I was like, Amy Adams would be an awesome Lois Lane. Oh, she wants to do it. What? And I think that's also the power of Superman as an icon. You know, these guys are just like, no, that's cool. I'll do that.
One of the most recognizable symbols in the world, isn't it? As well?
Absolutely, and you know, we just wanted to do it justice.
Zack Snyder, thanks very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.